remember the night it all came crashing down. I was sitting alone in my living room in Santa Fe, New Mexico, staring at the empty glass of wine in my hand. The house was quiet, but my mind was loud, screaming with thoughts I could not silence. For years, I had played the role of a strong woman, a mother, a churchgoer, someone who seemed to have it all together. But the truth was darker. Inside, I was rotting with jealousy, bitterness, and secret sins no one knew about. I envied the lives of celebrities, their wealth, their beauty, their fame. I wanted what they had, and I hated my own reflection for not measuring up. That night, I whispered into the silence, "God, are you even real, or am I just wasting my life pretending you care?" The air felt heavy. And just when I thought I had reached the bottom, I did not know that my soul was about to be dragged into something far more terrifying than I could ever imagine. But before I continue, I want to pause and say a big thank you to all of you watching this testimony. To everyone who has subscribed to this channel, thank you so much. To those who are new here and those who keep returning but have not yet subscribed, I cannot wait for you to hit that subscribe button. It is the fuel and energy that keeps this channel alive, helping me share these stories with the world. Please do not forget to share your thoughts in the comments. I read them, and they mean more than you know. Now let me take you back into my story. My name is Kathleen, and I am 58 years old. I was born and raised in New Mexico. To most people, I looked like a woman of faith. I attended church regularly, lifted my hands during worship, and smiled as though I was content. But behind closed doors, I was a different person. My faith had grown cold. I prayed out of habit, not out of love. My Bible gathered dust on the nightstand. When I was younger, I lost my younger brother in a car accident. That wound never healed. Instead of running to God for comfort, I buried my grief under layers of entertainment, gossip magazines, and television shows. I idolized celebrities, studying their glamorous lives like sacred texts. Their beauty and wealth became my obsession. I would buy every magazine at the grocery store just to read about their relationships, scandals, and fashion. Deep inside, I wished I was them. My view of God during those years was shallow at best. I believed in him, but only distantly, like believing in the sun while standing in the shade. I did not see him as a father. I saw him as someone far away, silent, maybe even indifferent. And because of that, sin crept into my life in ways I never admitted to anyone. Pride, envy, gossip, and unforgiveness sat at my table every night. I thought I had time. I thought one day I would get serious about God. One day I would repent. One day I would change. But that one day never came. Instead, I kept feeding myself with the shallow world of fame and fantasy, not knowing that all of it was leading me straight toward an encounter that would shake my soul to the core. And it all began one quiet evening in February of 2022. It was February 19, 2022, a chilly evening in Santa Fe. I remember the way the desert wind rattled the window panes of my house. I had just finished flipping through a glossy magazine, my eyes lingering on a famous actress I had admired for years. I sighed, whispering to myself, why does her life look so perfect while mine feels so empty? Not long after, a sharp pain seized my chest. It was sudden, like a fist tightening around my heart. My glass slipped from my hand and shattered on the tile floor. My knees buckled, and I fell hard, gasping for breath. The pain grew worse, spreading down my left arm. I tried to call out, but no sound came. My vision blurred, and darkness began to crawl in from the edges of my sight. That was the moment I realized I was dying. I felt my spirit tear away from my body. One second, I was lying on the floor, and the next, I was floating above myself, watching my lifeless body. Panic swept through me. I wanted to scream, but no sound left my lips. Then, suddenly, a force pulled me downward, fast, like I was being sucked into a tunnel. At first, there was silence. Then, I heard it. A distant roar. It was not like anything I had heard on Earth. It was a chorus of screams, multiplied by thousands, maybe millions. My stomach knotted as the stench hit me. Burning flesh, sulfur, a smell so thick it choked me even though I was no longer in my body. The air was heavy, suffocating, pressing in like invisible chains. And then I saw it. Flames. Endless flames rising and falling like waves of a living ocean. Shadows moved inside the fire, souls writhing, screaming, begging. Their cries pierced through me in ways words cannot describe. Each scream carried agony, regret, torment. I wanted to turn away, but I could not. A figure stumbled past me, skin charred, but still recognizably human. Their eyes, oh, those eyes, were wide with hopelessness. Suddenly, I recognized the face. It was a celebrity whose music I used to play on repeat, whose lifestyle I envied, whose bold interviews I admired. Here, that boldness was gone. Their voice cracked as they screamed, "Why did I waste my life? Why did I trade eternity for applause?" My heart raced. I wanted to deny what I was seeing, but the horror was undeniable. More faces came into view. Actors, musicians, even comedians whose jokes once made me laugh. Each one twisted in torment, their voices overlapping in endless regret. And then, I saw one whose movies I never missed. He looked right at me, his mouth opening in a guttural cry, "Tell them not to come here." His words seared into me. I stumbled back, trembling. Demons lurked in the flames. Their bodies were grotesque, shadows mixed with scales, their eyes glowing like burning coals. They mocked the souls, dragging them deeper into fire, tearing at them without mercy. One hissed in my direction, its voice like grinding metal. "You will join them soon." I felt my knees buckle. Fear clamped around me like iron chains. I remembered every bitter word I had spoken, every jealous thought, every hidden sin. Shame crushed me. I wanted to plead with God, but I felt so far from Him. I thought, this is it. This is where I belong. But then, I felt something shift. A faint sound cut through the screams. It was not loud, but it was steady, like a whisper carried on the wind. For the first time since the descent began, I felt the weight of the flames lift slightly. That was the moment I realized I was not alone. The whisper grew louder until it felt like it was surrounding me, wrapping me in a presence that was not from that place of torment. The demons hissed and recoiled, their faces twisting with rage as if something greater than them had stepped into the scene. The flames parted, and in the distance I saw a light. It was not like fire. This light was pure, steady, holy. The closer it came, the more the screams and torment seemed to fade into the background. Then a voice filled the atmosphere, strong yet tender. It was not the voice of judgment I expected. It was the voice of mercy. The words were few, but they were sharper than anything I had ever heard. Your time has not yet come. Go back and tell them, hell is real. In that instant, I fell to my knees. Every sin of my life flashed before me. My envy, my bitterness, my secret obsessions, my wasted years. I could not lift my head. I was undone, completely exposed. Yet in the midst of my shame, I felt something I had not felt in decades. Grace. A love so fierce, it burned deeper than the flames around me. The light pulled me upward, away from the fire, away from the screams, away from the mocking demons. I cried out, "Lord, I am not worthy." And the voice answered, My mercy is greater than your unworthiness. The next thing I remember, I was waking up in the hospital. My chest ached and machines beeped beside me. A nurse rushed in and shouted for the doctor. They told me I had suffered a massive heart attack and that it was a miracle I survived. But I knew better. It was not just a miracle. It was mercy. From that day forward, my life was never the same. I stopped chasing celebrity lives. I stopped feeding my spirit with gossip, envy, and vanity. The magazines I once collected, I threw them away. The television shows I obsessed over lost their grip on me. Instead, I began to fill my days with prayer, fasting, and the Word of God. For the first time, my Bible was not just a book on a nightstand. It became the bread that fed my starving soul. I reconciled with people I had held bitterness against for decades. I called my sister, whom I had not spoken to in years, and through tears I asked for forgiveness. The woman who once envied the rich and famous now found joy in serving the broken and forgotten. I started volunteering at a local shelter, cooking meals for those who had nothing. But perhaps the greatest change was this: my fear of death vanished. Before, I lived in denial, pretending eternity was far away. Now, every breath feels borrowed. Every day feels precious. I wake up knowing I was rescued from a place I cannot fully describe without trembling. To you watching this, I need to tell you the truth. Hell is not a metaphor. It is not a fairy tale. It is a real place filled with real people who once walked this earth. People you may know. People you may admire. Fame may impress the world, but it does not impress heaven. One line has been etched into my spirit ever since that night. Hell is filled with people who thought they had more time. Friend, you do not have more time. Tomorrow is not promised. Eternity is only a heartbeat away. I urge you, turn to God while you still can. Let go of sin and pride and bitterness and the empty idols of this world. Nothing is worth your soul. Nothing. Before I close, I want to hear from you. Do you believe that God still gives people warnings like the one He gave me? And how do you see the balance between fame on earth and eternity after death? Please share your thoughts in the comments. I read them and they matter deeply to me. Also, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps this message reach someone who may be standing on the edge of the same darkness I faced. If my testimony saves even one soul from stepping into those flames, then every word has been worth it.